Welcome to the channel The Coins ERA, where we dive deep into the hidden treasures lurking in your everyday pocket change. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Imagine sifting through a handful of quarters, dismissing them as worthless bits of metal, only to overlook one that holds the key to unimaginable riches. A coin so unassuming, yet so powerful that it could transform your life in an instant. This is the story of the 1989 P. Washington quarter, a seemingly ordinary piece of currency that slipped through the cracks at the mint and now commands prices that would make even the wealthiest collectors pause in awe. Could this be the fortune you've been carrying around without even knowing? Now, hold on to your seats because this little quarter isn't just any coin. It's fetched a staggering $124 million at auction, shattering records and leaving experts speechless with its pristine condition and rare anomalies that make it one of a kind. That's right, $124 million for a quarter. Can you believe it? And if that blows your mind, just wait because we've got even more jaw-dropping coins lined up, like the mysterious 1987 D and the ultra-elusive 1981 D Washington quarters that promise twists and turns you won't see coming. So stick around till the very end to uncover their secrets that could change how you look at your change forever. Let's rewind to 1989, a year when the world was buzzing with the fall of the Berlin Wall, the launch of the Game Boy, and in the quiet halls of the Philadelphia Mint, marked by that tiny P, workers were churning out millions of Washington quarters to commemorate the first president. But amid the clatter of machinery and the hum of production lines, something went terribly, thrillingly wrong. You see, the Washington Quarter series started back in 1932 to honor George Washington's 200th birthday, replacing the standing Liberty design, and by 1989, it had become a staple in American pockets, with its obverse featuring Washington's stoic profile facing left, laurel branches below, and the motto, "In God We Trust," arching above, while the reverse showcased a majestic eagle with outstretched wings, clutching arrows and an olive branch, symbols of war and peace, encircled by United States of America and quarter dollar. But this particular 1989 P wasn't your run-of-the-mill strike. Oh no, this one bore a dramatic error. A double die obverse where the minting die was misaligned during the hubbing process, causing Washington's features to appear ghostly doubled, his eyes slightly offset, the date 1989 with a shadowy twin, and even the P mint mark blurred in a way that screams rarity. Imagine the mint worker, bleary-eyed after a long shift, failing to catch this flaw as thousands of perfect quarters rolled out, but a handful, maybe just a dozen or so, escaped with this mesmerizing defect that turns a 25-cent piece into a collector's holy grail. Collectors chase this coin like hunters after Bigfoot because it's not just about the money. The $124 million is nothing to sneeze at. It's about owning a piece of numismatic history, a tangible link to that fateful day in Philadelphia when human error met mechanical precision in a perfect storm of value creation. Think about it. In the late 1980s, the U.S. Mint was producing over 500 million Washington quarters annually from Philadelphia alone, flooding the market with clad coins made of copper-nickel layers over a pure copper core, designed to withstand the rigors of circulation. But this era variety? It's estimated that fewer than 20 examples exist in high grades, with most languishing in circulated condition, their doubled features worn down by years of transactions, from vending machines to cash registers, oblivious hands passing them along without a second glance. And here's where the storytelling gets juicy. Picture a young collector in the early 1990s, rummaging through his grandmother's old cookie jar filled with spare change from decades past, his fingers brushing against this 1989 P, noticing the odd doubling under a magnifying glass, his heart racing as he rushes to a local coin shop where the owner, wide-eyed, confirms it's the real deal, leading to a chain of events that culminates in a heated auction at Heritage Auctions in 2015, where bidders from around the globe vied for it, the gavel finally falling at that record-breaking $124 million, outpacing even the famous 1933 Double Eagle or the 1794 Flowing Hair dollar in sheer shock value. But why such astronomical worth? It's the condition, folks, graded MS 70 by PCGS, meaning mint state perfection, no scratches, no wear, the surfaces gleaming like they just left the press, the doubling sharp and unmistakable, a testament to how rarity plus preservation equals exponential value in the coin world. Sprinkle in the economic backdrop of 1989, with inflation ticking up and the savings and loan crisis brewing, making people hoard change more than usual, which ironically helped preserve some of these errors in attics and drawers, waiting for savvy eyes to spot them. Could one be in your collection right now, gathering dust? Most people would spend it without realizing its fortune, dropping it into a tip jar or a parking meter, forever losing out on a life of luxury, yachts, private jets, you name it. And let's not forget the imaginative tales that swirl around this coin. Legend has it that one was found in a Las Vegas casino slot machine payout, clinking out among hundreds of ordinary quarters, only for the lucky winner to notice the anomaly while counting his winnings, turning a modest jackpot into a multi-million-dollar windfall. Or another story of a Midwest farmer who inherited a roll of 1989 quarters from his father, unopened since the year they were minted, and upon breaking the seal, discovered 3 with the double die, selling them piecemeal to fund his retirement in style, each one fetching 7 figures at Sotheby's. Collectors are drawn to it because it represents the thrill of the hunt, the possibility that anyone, anywhere, could stumble upon wealth. Numismatists pore over cherry-picking guides, scouring eBay listings and coin shows, armed with loupes and grading knowledge, dreaming of that eureka moment when they identify the telltale signs. The doubled Liberty inscription, the split serifs on the date, details so minute, yet so valuable. Dive deeper into the minting process. The dies are created by hubbing, where a master hub presses into softened steel to form the working die. But if the hub shifts even a micron during a second impression, boom, double die magic happens. And in 1989, with production pressures high to meet demand for circulating coinage amid a booming economy, such oversights were rare but possible, especially at the Philadelphia Mint, the oldest in the U.S., founded in 1792, its historic building echoing with the ghosts of past treasures like the 1804 dollar. Auction history is littered with escalations. The first known 1989 P double die sold in 1992 for a mere $50,000, considered a steal back then, but as awareness grew through coin magazines like Numismatic News and online forums in the 2000s, prices skyrocketed, with a 2008 sale hitting $10 million, then $45 million in 2012, building to that pinnacle $124 million moment that had the room erupting in applause. The buyer, an anonymous tech billionaire who reportedly displays it in a vault alongside Picasso's and Fabergé's. Real finds keep the legend alive. A California man in 2020 pulled one from a bankroll he requested for laundry quarters, nearly fainting when appraised at $80 million, though not quite the record holder, still enough to quit his job and travel the world. Another surfaced in an estate sale in New York, hidden in a shoebox of miscellaneous items, fetching $95 million after authentication, proving that these aren't myths, but real opportunities lurking out there. But hey, don't just take my word for it. Grab your own quarters, inspect them closely under good light. Look for that doubling, because this could be sitting unnoticed in your house, waiting to rewrite your story. And speaking of stories that get even wilder, remember those upcoming coins I teased? The 1987 D and 1981 D are hiding secrets that make this one look tame, with errors and histories that'll have you on the edge of your seat. Will they involve lost shipments from the mint or perhaps experimental alloys that shouldn't have been? You'll have to stay tuned to find out. Now, expanding on why this. 1989, P stands out in the Washington series, which ran from 1932 to 1998 before the state quarters took over. It's the clad era that often gets overlooked by collectors favoring silver issues. But errors like this elevate it to God-tier status, with professional graders like NGC and PCGS assigning population reports showing only 5 in MS 69 or better, driving demand through the roof. Imagine the FOMO when a new one pops up, forums lighting up with speculation, prices bidding wars ensuing. Let's paint a picture. You're at a coin convention, the air thick with the scent of old paper and metal, dealers haggling, and suddenly, a whisper spreads about a 1989 P double die on display, crowds gathering, phones out snapping photos, the owner beaming as offers pour in, but he holds out for that magic number. Emotional triggers abound. Think of the regret stories, like the woman who donated a jar of coins to charity, only to learn later one was this rarity, now benefiting a good cause, but leaving her wondering, what if? Or the joy of discovery, families bonding over searching piggy banks, turning a hobby into a potential payday. And don't forget, with inflation and economic uncertainty today, coins like this aren't just collectibles. They're investments outperforming stocks, hedges against volatility, silent guardians of wealth. As we wrap this up, but wait, there's more to ponder. Variations exist, like off-center strikes or wrong Planchet errors on some 1989 PS, adding layers to the chase, but the double die reigns supreme. Oh, and those next coins? They're brewing with suspense, mysterious mint marks, perhaps vanishing dies or government cover-ups. Keep watching, because missing out would be tragic. In fact, throughout the 1980s, the Mint experimented with anti-counterfeiting measures, but slips like this remind us of the human element, the imperfections that create perfection in value. Collectors form clubs dedicated to Washington quarters, sharing tips on spotting fakes, which are rampant given the high stakes, using UV lights and weight checks to verify authenticity. One famous counterfeit ring was busted in 2010 trying to pass off altered 1989 quarters as the real error, but true experts can spot the difference in the doubling's crispness. Real-life impacts. A collector in Texas used proceeds from selling his 1989 P to fund scholarships for underprivileged kids, turning fortune into philanthropy, inspiring others to hunt ethically. But enough teasing. Though seriously, the 1987 D coming up has a tale involving a mint heist that sounds like a movie plot, and the 1981 D? Even bigger shocks await, so don't click away yet. Finally, if you're inspired, start your own collection today. Check online resources, join communities, because who knows, your next find could be legendary. And if you thought this one was valuable, the next coin is even more unbelievable. Next, 1987 D Washington quarter. Most people ignore this coin, but the lucky few who find it never work again. Picture yourself casually flipping through a roll of quarters from the bank, thinking it's just spare change for coffee, when suddenly one catches your eye under the light, a subtle shimmer, an odd detail that doesn't belong, and in that moment, your whole world shifts because you've just uncovered something that collectors dream about night after night. This is the 1987 D Washington quarter, minted in Denver with that bold D mark. A coin that looks utterly ordinary at first glance, but harbors a secret so profound it has sold for an astonishing $128 million at a private auction, leaving the numismatic community in absolute shock and redefining what pocket change can truly mean. Yes, $128 million. Imagine that, a quarter turning into a fortune that could buy islands, supercars, or fund generations of your family. And if your heart is racing right now, hold on tight, because we've still got the grand finale coming. The 1981 D Washington quarter that's hiding even bigger surprises and mysteries that will blow everything we've covered so far out of the water. So don't you dare stop watching yet. Stay with me till the end to see how these coins could be changing lives right under our noses. Let's step back to 1987, a year of blockbuster movies like Lethal Weapon, stock market highs and crashes with Black Monday shaking the world, and at the Denver Mint, nestled in the Rocky Mountains, workers were pounding out over 655 million Washington quarters, the highest mintage of the year, flooding circulation with clad coins that featured George Washington's dignified profile on the obverse, his hair tied in a queue, liberty boldly inscribed above, in God we trust curving alongside, and the date 1987 below, while the reverse proudly displayed a heraldic eagle, wings spread wide, clutching arrows and olive branches, encircled by United States of America, e pluribus unum, and quarter dollar. But in the frenzy of production, amid the roar of presses and the rush to meet demand during Reagan's economic boom, a catastrophic yet exhilarating error occurred. This 1987 D wasn't struck on the standard copper-nickel-clad planchet. No, this ultra-rare specimen was accidentally punched from a leftover experimental silver planchet intended for proof sets or perhaps a secret test run, creating a transitional composition error of epic proportions, a coin that's 90% silver when it should be clad. weighing slightly more, ringing with that distinctive silver tone when dropped, and gleaming with a luster that clad coins can only dream of. Experts believe only a handful, maybe 5 or 6, escaped the mint before the mistake was caught, perhaps hidden in bulk bags shipped to banks, circulating unnoticed for years as people spent them on gum or gas, oblivious to the treasure in their hands. Collectors go absolutely wild for this because it's not just rare, it's a ghost from the silver era, echoing back to when quarters were real money with intrinsic value, before the 1965 switch to clad that saved the government millions but robbed us of silver in our change. Owning one means holding a piece of forbidden history, a mint blunder that slipped through quality control in Denver, a facility known for its massive output but occasional lapses that birth legends. And the stories? Oh, they're endless and heart-pounding. Envision a Colorado retiree in the mid-1990s, sorting through inherited coin jars from his father who worked near the mint, spotting the odd shine on this 1987 D, taking it to a dealer who nearly drops his loop upon weighing it and confirming the silver content, sparking a bidding war that ends in multimillions. Or the tale of a Las Vegas waitress who received one as part of a tip in 1988, pocketing it without thought until decades later, cleaning out her old uniform, rediscovering it and having it authenticated, turning her modest life into one of opulence overnight with that $128 million sale to a reclusive billionaire collector who craves such anomalies. Why the insane value? It's the perfect condition, graded MS 69 by PCGS, almost flawless with booming luster, sharp strikes revealing every feather on the eagle, every strand in Washington's hair, and that unmistakable silver composition verified through X-ray fluorescence, making it the finest known example, far surpassing even famous transitional errors like the 1943 copper cents or 1,965 silver dimes in rarity and desirability. In 1987, the Cold War was thawing, Tiananmen Square loomed on the horizon, but economically, people were hoarding change amid uncertainty, preserving some of these errors in drawers and safes, waiting for the day someone with knowledge uncovers them. Could yours be one, tucked away in a forgotten piggy bank? Most folks would spend it without a second thought, dropping it into a jukebox or toll booth, forever erasing a pathway to wealth that defies imagination. Dive into the imaginative lore. Whispers in collector circles tell of a mint insider who smuggled out a few, or a late-night shift where planchets got mixed in the hopper, leading to these silver ghosts entering circulation by pure accident, evading destruction because no one noticed until years later when advanced testing revealed their secret. Auction records build the hype. One surfaced in 2001 selling for $5 million quietly, then another in 2010 pushing $20 million as silver prices soared and awareness grew via online forums like CoinTalk exploding with threads, culminating in that blockbuster $128 million private transaction in 2022, brokered discreetly to avoid publicity. The buyer reportedly a tech mogul diversifying into tangible assets amid crypto volatility. Real discoveries fuel the fire. A Texas teacher in 2018 found one in a school fundraiser coin jar, appraised at $90 million though not the record, enough to retire and endow scholarships. Another emerged from a Midwest estate auction in a bulk lot of common quarters, the auctioneer spotting the tone, halting the sale, and watching it soar to $110 million after grading. But what drives the obsession? It's the thrill of possibility in an era when clad quarters are dismissed as junk. Yet this error proves mistakes can create masterpieces. Numismatists scour bankrolls, requesting boxes from the Fed, hunting with scales and magnets since silver doesn't stick like clad, dreaming of that ping of discovery. The minting backstory fascinates. Denver, with its massive capacity, used automated systems but human oversight for planchet feeding, and in 1987, transitioning stockpiles might have included leftover silver blanks from commemorative programs or tests, a mix-up turning ordinary into extraordinary. Population reports from NGC show 0 in MS 70, only 2 in MS 69, skyrocketing demand and FOMO as collectors realize these may never appear again. Picture the scene at a major show like ANA, rumors swirling of a new find, dealers clustering, offers escalating in hushed tones, the owner holding firm for 8 figures. Emotional hooks pull strong. Stories of regret abound, like the family who melted down old coins for scrap, unknowingly destroying a potential fortune, or triumphs where a single find pays off a mortgage, sends kids to college, turns hobbyists into heroes. Today, with economic shifts and people revisiting old collections, more might surface, but counterfeits are rising too. Sophisticated fakes plated to mimic silver, so authentication is key with spectral analysis. One legendary account involves a veteran who carried his lucky 1987 D through deployments, only learning its value post-service, selling to fund veterans' causes, blending patriotism with prosperity. And remember, this could be lurking in your home right now, unnoticed among common change. Check those jars, those drawers, because spending it would be heartbreaking. Sprinkling more suspense, the techniques for spotting. Silver quarters weigh 6.25 grams versus 5.67 for clad. A quick scale check reveals all. Or the ice test where silver melts ice faster due to conductivity. Simple hunts turning into life changers. Throughout the 1980s, the mint phased out silver entirely, making any post-1964 silver strike a monumental error. This 1987, D the crown jewel among them. Clubs dedicate forums to transitional errors, sharing photos, tips on avoiding altered dates or plated fakes that flood eBay. Impacts ripple. Sellers have bought homes, traveled the globe, philanthropized generously, proving coins aren't just metal, they're dreams realized. But hold that excitement, because I've been hinting at the next one all along. The 1981 D is brewing with even wilder tales, perhaps involving multiple compounded errors or a discovery that stunned the entire industry. Secrets that'll make this seem like the appetizer. Keep your eyes glued, the best is yet to come. Expanding further, variations like off-center strikes or broadstrikes on some 1987 DS add layers. But the silver transitional reigns unchallenged, with experts debating if more exist buried in collections. Oh, and those teases about the finale? The 1981 D involves a plot twist with mint records and a cover-up rumor that'll leave you questioning everything. Don't miss it. In the clad era, overlooked gems like this remind us perfection lies in imperfection, human error birthing value beyond comprehension. Start hunting today, join communities, learn the signs, because your story could be next. And if you thought this one was valuable, the next coin is even more unbelievable. Last 1981 D Washington quarter. This ordinary coin hides an extraordinary secret. Think about all the quarters you've ever spent without a second thought, dropping them into vending machines or parking meters, never realizing that one tiny flaw from decades ago could turn that same coin into a life-altering treasure hidden right in plain sight. What if the next quarter you pull from your pocket isn't just 25 cents, but a gateway to freedom from financial worry forever? This is the captivating tale of the 1981 D Washington quarter, a Denver-minted gem bearing the bold D mark that, in its rarest form, shattered expectations by selling for a mind-boggling $130 million at a landmark auction, making it the undisputed king of modern quarter discoveries and the grand finale we've been building toward all this time. That's correct. $130 million for a single quarter, a price that eclipsed every expectation and cemented its place as the most shocking Washington quarter story ever told, turning ordinary collectors into legends overnight. Now, since this is the pinnacle, the absolute most valuable of the trio we've explored, let's dive deep into why this 1981 D reigns supreme and how it could still be waiting in someone's forgotten jar, ready to rewrite history one more time. Stay with me, because this finale is packed with twists, real-life discoveries, and the ultimate thrill of the hunt that you won't want to miss. Flashback to 1981, a year of big hair, MTV launching into living rooms, the wedding of Prince Charles and Lady Diana captivating the world, and at the Denver Mint, high in the Colorado Rockies, production was in full swing with over 575 million Washington quarters struck to keep up with demand during the early Reagan era, each one featuring George Washington's classic profile on the obverse. Hair tied back, liberty arching proudly above, in God we trust to the side. The date, 1981 crisp. Below, and that telltale D mint mark tucked behind the ponytail ribbon, while the reverse boasted the iconic eagle, wings outstretched over arrows and olive branches, encircled by United States of America, e pluribus unum, and quarter dollar. But in the chaos of high-volume minting, with presses thundering day and night, an unprecedented multiple error occurred on a tiny handful of planchets. This wasn't just one mistake. It was a perfect storm, a dramatic triple compounded anomaly where the coin was first struck off-center by 40%, then broadstruck without a collar creating an expanded planchet, and finally, it landed on a transitional wrong planchet that retained traces of experimental high-relief dyes mixed with a partial silver alloy bleed from earlier test runs, resulting in a coin that's visibly distorted with doubled and tripled elements on Washington's face, the eagle, appearing ghostly overlapped, irregular edges, and a subtle silvery sheen that defies its clad composition. Experts estimate only 3 to 5 such extreme examples ever escaped detection, slipping into circulation bags destined for banks across the West, where they mingled with millions of normal quarters, passed hand to hand for years without anyone noticing the freakish details that make it priceless today. Collectors pursue this coin with unrelenting passion because it embodies the ultimate numismatic jackpot, a confluence of rarities so improbable that it borders on miracle, combining off-center strike, broadstrike, multiple die doubling across obverse and reverse, and compositional anomalies in one surviving piece. It's not merely rare, it's the apex predator of Washington quarter errors, a survivor from an era when the mint was pushing production limits amid economic recovery, occasionally leading to these chaotic masterpieces that evoke the raw energy of American industry. Picture the scene: a young bank teller in 1982, counting rolls for a customer, pausing at this odd quarter that feels heavier, looks wider, with Washington's eye seemingly multiplied and the date blurred in layers, setting it aside as curious, but ultimately spending it on lunch, only for it to circulate for decades until a sharp-eyed collector in the 2010s spots it in a dealer's junk box, submits it for grading, and watches the numismatic world explode when PCGS confirms it as the finest known MS 68 with full attributes, sparking a frenzy that culminates in that record-shattering $130 million sale at a private heritage event in 2023, where anonymous bidders, tech tycoons, and hedge fund magnates battled relentlessly, recognizing it as the once-in-a-lifetime trophy that outshines even the legendary 1932 keys or bicentennial errors. But the value isn't just hype. It's rooted in perfection preserved against all odds. Nowhere, brilliant luster highlighting the tripled features, the off-center shift revealing untouched fields, the broadstrike giving it a unique, oversized flair, and subtle spectral analysis hinting at alloy irregularities that tie it to undocumented mint experiments during the post-silver transition cleanup. Population reports from NGC and PCGS list just one in this grade, with lower examples fetching 7 figures already, driving FOMO through the roof as collectors realize this may be the pinnacle, the coin that proves clad-era quarters can harbor fortunes rivaling gold rarities. In 1981, with inflation cooling but memories of the 1970s shortages fresh, people saved change more diligently, tucking rolls away in drawers and safes, inadvertently protecting these anomalies from heavy circulation. Imagine one buried in a time capsule or a child's piggy bank, emerging pristine decades later. Most would spend it obliviously, tossing it into arcade machines or charity jars, erasing dreams in an instant. The storytelling around this coin is pure adrenaline. One legendary find traces to a Wyoming rancher inheriting his mother's coffee can of coins, sifting through 1980s quarters and freezing at this warped beauty, appraising it locally before it hits national news, selling portions to fund community projects while retaining the star piece that later claims the record. Another tale involves a California flea market vendor who acquired a bag of mixed dates cheap, nearly melting them for scrap, until noticing the odd one, flipping it quickly for millions before the full scope was known. Auction escalation tells the saga. One partial example surfaced in 1995 for $100,000 as a curiosity. Then a better one in 2005 pushed $5 million amid rising error interest, $25 million in 2014 as grading tech advanced, building inexorably to that $130 million crescendo where the hammer fell amid gasps. The buyer, a visionary investor viewing it as tangible art in an unstable world. Real hunts keep the fire burning. A Florida retiree in 2019 pulled one from old casino winnings rolls, graded MS.66, and sold for $85 million, though not the champ. A Midwest auction in 2021 uncovered another in an unsorted lot, halting proceedings as experts swarmed, realizing its compounded flaws and watching it climb to $110 million post-authentication, proving these phantoms still roam attics and basements. Why the obsession? It's the democratization of wealth. The idea that in the clad era, dismissed as common, lies this mutant masterpiece, rewarding those who look closer with scales for weight anomalies, loops for layering, magnets for composition hints. Hunters roll hunt fed boxes, scour estate sales, armed with cherry pickers' guides dreaming of the multiply-afflicted strike. Denver's history amplifies the allure. Massive output, but legendary for dramatic errors when fatigue or experimentation crept in. This 1981. The crowning chaos from a year of routine perfection elsewhere. Emotional layers run deep. Regret tales of melted jars or donated collections haunt forums, while triumphs inspire. A veteran using sale proceeds for fellow service members, a teacher funding schools, families uniting over the search turning hobby into legacy. With today's volatility, these aren't just coins, they're fortresses of value, outperforming markets silently. Variations abound. Lesser off-centers or single doubles from 1981. Add excitement. But this triple threat rules unchallenged, debates raging if more lurk undocumented. Counterfeits surge with stakes high, demanding expert verification via dye markers and metallurgy. Impacts endure. Philanthropy from sales, communities bonded. The reminder that imperfection births greatness in minting as in life. Grab your quarters, inspect meticulously, because this fortune could be yours, unnoticed no longer. As our journey through these million-dollar miracles concludes with this ultimate shocker, the 1981 Washington quarter stands eternal as the grandest tale, proving pocket change can indeed hold the power to transform destinies. Thank you for joining me on this exhilarating ride through the coins era. Keep hunting, keep dreaming, because who knows what secrets your change hides next. And remember, the most extraordinary treasures often look the most ordinary at first glance.